Well, Donald Trump is running for president now. He's the second guy that announced running for president in a Republican platform. He's a conservative, quote unquote. I don't know what the hell that means anymore because it's one of them labels. But I can tell you this. There's one thing about Donald Trump, and there's several things about Donald Trump that are good. That, well, for one, he opposes the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Obamacare, that's another damn thing he opposes. That's good. Another thing, though, I can tell you this. You know, when you talk about the wealthy and the elite, do not paint such a broad brush against all of them. Now, anybody, yeah, I know this guy's out for money, okay? I do not stay in any of his, or gamble in any of his real estate investments or anything like that. I mean, if I was had an overnight stay someplace, he charges some serious bucks, but that's a different issue, because I could tell you one thing: anybody, especially if they made their money in real estate in this country, they have an acute interest in the economic welfare of this country because it's bad for their business. It's like if somebody's a CEO of a company or they're president of a major freaking bank or investment house, that's one thing. But guys like this that are involved in real estate, building and constructing things that are out there for the public, you know, as you know, where he's got to attract people to his business, he's part and parcel of the economy. Actually, the economy is 50% of the economy is real estate, local economy or national economy is real estate. It's tied to the ground. Guys like this that got their wealth from this way, this manner, have an interest in seeing that, that the United States does well. He's not an internationalist type of rich guy. That's one thing I could really say in his favor. Like, again, I would not stay in one of these places if I was like on the road and I was like saying, hey, because I watch my budget, okay? And I think these fancy places cost a lot of money. If I was in the old 1985 Jeep, I'd put the seat back on it, I'd pull into a rest stop, I'd put my jacket as a pillow, and I'd sleep. I'd say, the heck with going in this place, and I'd save myself some money. But anyway, otherwise, but the guy's, he's actually like, he's tied, like I said, he's tied in with the United States. The other thing is we're going to have hot-looking First Lady, and I think he's going to get, if he ever made it into the White House, he'd get in big trouble, though, because he's got the mouth that'll get him in trouble. I know he will, but he's a good guy. And I'm not like a total fan of his or anything like that in that way, but I would definitely vote for this guy. That'd be kind of pretty wild if it was Donald Trump versus Hillary Clinton, because this is the one guy that would really open his mouth about a lot of shit that she did. Jeb would keep his damn mouth shut. I know it. I hope Jeb doesn't run. It's not like I don't like Jeb so much. If the other two Bushes, or if it was only one other Bush ran for freaking was a president, I wouldn't be that bad. But not three. Three Bushes with this. Even if it's his cousin has got a different last name, it's not as bad. But that just looks bad when he got, he already had 3 terms with Bushes, for crying out loud. That's why I just wouldn't vote for Jeb Bush. There's too many, if you had a different last name, that would be a different story, for crying out loud. But, it seems like it's violating the principle, even though it's not. It's not unconstitutional. But, Trump, he's out of the ballpark of politics. And I can tell you right now, it's a mixed bag with him, because I think Wall Street would support him. Yet at the same time, liberal rags like the New York Times would be tearing him up left and right. And I guarantee you he probably doesn't have the right type of finesse for being a politician. He's like, I'm worse than him. Like, if I was a politician, forget about it, man. Oh, God. But, I'd say it. That's what he would do. He would say what the heck's going on. And actually, he's a guy with money you would really like. Like I said, his money is tied here to the United States, Just like that guy that owns the Chicago Tribune called the Grave Dancer, man. I forgot his damn name already, for crying out loud. But, some people don't like him. Some people like him. But, I know he's an aggressive businessman. He's not playing games, and, he didn't get his money by giving everything away, that's for sure. But on the other side of it is, though, all his income, in his case, his income comes from here in the United States. In other words, guys like that are vested in real estate, guys that built up real estate, did a lot of construction on hotels and plazas and, casinos and resorts. They have a vested interest in seeing that the American people have money in their pocket and they're doing well, so they could spend that money either renting their apartments, going to their resorts, going to their casinos, or, staying at their hotels when they're taking vacations. And if they don't have money, the business is way down in these ventures. Actually, like I said, real estate is with all its indirect corollary industries, real estate is 50% of the economy in the United States. So usually these guys that was actually my forte. It was not an accountant that messed around with taxes per se. I was an accountant that was involved in heavy, big construction or any kind of construction, that type of stuff. That was my real main field. And I know, like, working for these type of guys, they're tied in with the United States, even if they got your political views might be. I'm not even exactly a conservative, man. I don't even know what the hell that stupid word means. Or I'm not even exactly a liberal, I'm not a socialist, though. I know that. And I could tell you one thing: Trump isn't a socialist. Hillary's a socialist. Holy shit, she's a socialist. But Hillary would be courted by the Wall Street, but Trump, I think he would be courted by Wall Street too. I don't know, like I said, there's different types of wealthy people. There's the real international type, like Soros is being international type. Trump, he's a USA type. And I could name some other ones, but I don't want to because I work for him, I don't want to because like I said, I work for him. And, I know they got there's critics of him out there, and they did this and they did that, and sometimes, when they're making money, like somebody's got this kind of money to make it, to put this together, it's not, there isn't everybody's going to be happy. But then you look at the end result, look what he did. But again, like I have to really emphasize, somebody like Trump that made a lot of money in this country, he's interested in keeping people's economy, their personal economy going, and the general economy going. He wants, even if you look strictly at the money completely, even if you only look at the money, he's got a vested interest in making sure that the economy in this country is good so they could spend it in his casinos, his resorts for vacations, his hotels. If he's got apartment buildings, he spends it over there, whatever. And that's exactly why these type of guys that have wealth in this country, they're part of that one basis point that's okay. There's always going to be somebody that's in a one basis point. That's the definition. The ones you don't want are the international types. And Trump, he's not one of those types. He's not one of those types. He's a USA rich guy. You know what I mean? So if he runs and he's on that ticket, I'll vote Republican definitely for this guy. There's no doubt about it. I know some people give me a lot of flack for that, but there's always something wrong with somebody. The only thing I could see really wrong with Trump is that he's going to tell it like it is, and he's going to get in trouble. But that's okay by me. I'm all right with that shit. He tells it like it is. I'm okay with that. And actually, he's a Jersey guy, basically. He's up there in Atlantic City and shit, Actually, I got an idea for you, Trump. here's an idea for you right now. And I'm an advocate of health and that type of stuff. I think a lot of these resorts, you ought to be pushing not only the nutritional for health, like the vitamin C, the vitamin D, which are freaking powerful hormones. Don't let those crooked doctors tell you otherwise, because the good doctors like Frederick Kleiner and Cathcart Levy, and of course the Nobel Peace Prize winner, two-time Peace Prize winner, and Nobel chemist Dr. Linus Pauling, knew how much it increased our longevity and healed us. Maybe those resorts could be health centers too, with George Lakowski multi-wave oscillators and healing waves and everything else going through there to help restore people's health and psyche and all that other type of stuff. That's another new novel idea, because maybe people can't afford all this high-tech electronic stuff that I've always been talking about on this channel for quite some time. And that might be a novel approach. When you go down to the casino or the hotel, you get your health restored partly too at the same time. Already I know they pump some ozone through the air to keep people more alert and stuff. But hey, why not just make it a health center? What the hell? And when people are healthy, here's the other flip side of it. They're more productive, they're more alert, their brain works a lot better, the ideas flow better, and when you start getting a whole bunch of people like that are healthy, alert, their brain works a lot better, new ideas come out, and even just the flow of goods and the economy just works better all the way around. Plus, besides lowering the healthcare cost. He's against Obamacare, and I agree with that shit. I agree that, we don't need a government healthcare, but, an entrepreneur like this, maybe you ought to get a little bit in the health industry. I hate using that word alternative health, because it's actually true health. It's just that it's not, it would be a moneymaker for him, because if you incorporate it in the, the casinos, the resorts, and the hotels, and wherever people stay over, and it's part of maybe even a restaurant package, or if there's a vitamin package included in that, that might be a pretty slick idea, because when people are going on there and it might be a good way to actually turn people on to some of these things where they realize, hey, this is a lifestyle I need to be changing to. But you know what that'll do? All the experienced people that are older, that got 40 years of experience in their trades, and no matter what it is, man, no matter what it is, they could be automotive mechanic or whatever, to be that much more vibrant for that many more years, which would help the economy, which of course they could teach other people what they know besides. It's a win-win situation. So, I guess there's other ideas I could throw at this guy that he probably never thought of, because I'm sure he's got a load of ass kissers around him too, because what the hell else is new? Anytime people get a lot of money, they got the chain of ass kissers around them, man. I'll guarantee you that. That's the biggest drawback of freaking having money, man. The guy at the top may be surrounded by a lot of barnacles that are nothing like the guy on the top. So in a lot of ways, I guess I do respect this guy a lot. He reminds me of other people I work for, because he's in that industry, the real estate, and constructing things here on the ground in the United States of America with American local labor. Understand? That's how this guy got his money. This was not imported. They didn't, when they built this, like when I'm looking at this plaza here, they didn't get all this material from someplace else. Put this all together. USA labor. That's Trump. That's why I'm going to tell you that the 1% or the 1 basis point on the top, they're not all equal. I don't know whether you like him or not. I just think the one thing he's going to do, though, to me, I don't think it's a bad thing. The one thing he's going to do is he's going to say something that's going to, I don't know, he's going to say something outlandish, and the New York Times is going to jump all over it. And, but then they're going to knock my support down for him. I'll vote for this guy in a heartbeat if he's a Republican. I'll guarantee you that. No problem. Now, Jeb, I don't really dislike Jeb per se or nothing like that. I'm just thinking we had enough freaking Bushes in office. If Jeb had a different freaking last name, it would be a different story. He could have Should have changed his last name or some shit. I don't know. I mean, he's related to those. I mean, his father and his brother and him. I mean, that's a little bit too much reminding me of kings and queens. You know, Trump, he's another new face for sure. You know? So, I don't know. I don't know how well this video is going to be received, but do take note of my points about real estate and guys that build this stuff. It's not like they're freaking sitting up in the office and saying, "Oh, I'm going to farm out all the jobs over to freaking overseas and make myself like hundreds of millions of dollars of bonuses because I cut the labor cost." This guy used all USA labor when he built this stuff. His income stream comes from the USA. In other words, people have to come here, and when they come here, these different resorts and stuff, they have to have either the entertainment or feel good or a refresher, psychological refresher for the vacation, that when they went to this place, they felt the money was well spent. He's competing with a lot of people on his soil. And, it just can't be overemphasized that all this was constructed out of USA labor. It's not a number. It's going to be there for, physically it could last hundreds of years easy. Physically it could last hundreds of years. So, that's why I really like construction in a lot of ways. These people do something. You can see it. It's almost like mechanic work, right? You can see it. You do it with your hands. You build it. It's not all money. It's not all money, and it's something permanent. So, this guy's all right. So I'd vote for him in a second. I can tell you that right now.